In this film, Ambi and I explored what we noticed in locations one is familiar with and the other one isn't familiar with, and how this may develop our personal connections to these environments. We visited each environment separately, but at the same time on the same day, and filmed what captured our attention. The film looks through two different points of views and finds the interconnection between our experiences. Docklands, for me, is a place full of memories. I chose that environment not only because my first home in Melbourne was here, but also I experienced a lot of happiness and sorrow alongside the river. I spent a lot of time with my old friend and together sat beside the river, just feeling calm as long as I entered Docklands. No matter the daytime or night, it could always bring me peace in my heart. Even though sometimes the weather was not good and full of rain and wind, I could still sit quietly and feel everything here. I wonder if Ambi could feel the peace I felt every time I was here, and wonder she would enjoy this unique environment for me.
In Docklands, I first noticed how quiet it was, even though it was just on the border of the city. There were some families relaxing on the grass, businessmen walking through, and people reading their books. Everything felt peaceful. I wondered about the sort of experiences Chio may have had in this spot. I love this specific spot in Botanic Gardens where you can sit on the hill overlooking the lake. There are a lot of positive feelings attached to this spot because of my past memories there. I've mostly spent time here with friends, but when I started coming to sit here on my own, I started to become more aware of the natural sounds around me, like the birds and the rustling of the trees. I started to pay attention to all of the different flowers that surrounded the lake. I even came closer to the lake where the swan swam. I realized there are more details and characteristics about this place than I had thought. I feel familiar with this spot, and so I started wondering what Chio was seeing. Did she see the lake the same way I did? And would she be sitting on the same bench as me? It made me wonder about the different ways we can experience an environment.
I haven't been to Botanic Gardens before, but actually my first experience of that environment is pretty good. The lake Ambi introduced to me must have meant a lot to her. When I first entered, I kept wondering what she would see there. I wonder if she can sense the animals and plants I see. When I noticed that those swans and living creatures were so attractive, and Ambi didn't like being near the lake as much as I did, and was a little scared of the birds and swans in the lake, I started to wonder if everyone's perceptions and connections to the environment were different. I was a little bit surprised at how much similar we saw things. There are so many things in common.
We realized from visiting the botanical gardens and Docklands that although they have their differences in landscape and culture, there was a shared mutual connection and experience. There were similarities in how we observed and perceived the environment, yet also unique differences due to our first impressions. Chio explored the botanical gardens, whereas I only felt like an observer since I was familiar, and vice versa. Yet through this film, I started to acknowledge the gardens with fresh eyes again. It encouraged me to wonder about my environment. I took more time noticing the details I would have missed and to reconnect with my senses.
I wonder if the water in Docklands that I always see could connect to the lake in Botanic Gardens that Ambi always see. Perhaps many environments, whether urban or natural, can be connected and combined with people's cognitive development. We both feel a sense of peace and calmness in these environments, and maybe there are others out there who've experienced the same feelings and attachments as us.